All right, welcome in. Welcome into the Bite Me podcast. Everybody is present and accounted for and on time. How about that? We got the fellas here on the Bite Me podcast. And okay, so I do want to get to some of the particulars like we always do with this show, but I know you guys know this. You probably don't want to spend a lot of time in my head because I tend to be firing in different directions at the same time. Dean, you're shaking your head. There's a lot.
Yeah, nobody wants to be there. There's not enough room for you in there.
There really isn't. There's a lot going on in here, man. But so as I was finishing up last night, I typed up the rundown, which I know you guys went through immediately. I just started getting all these crazy thoughts, a couple of texts from you guys. So I kind of wanted to just scatter shoot there. But I know we have a little bit of a shootout news happening. Let's get to that first here, Dean.
Yes, the reinvented drift sock, totally revolutionary, that you've heard me speak of occasionally here, is now available at Anglers Anonymous and at the Waterloo Outfitters in Victoria, Texas. So we have moved into the retail market.
Awesome. Congrats.
And you can still order online at shootout.net, deliver straight to your house, or if you happen to be Waterloo Outfitters or Anglers Anonymous, and they're shopping for all of their other wonderful items that they stock in the stores, you can pick you up a shootout or 2 or 3 there.
Badass. So let me get to all these thoughts that are just dancing around in my head. Most of them about fishing, which is kind of sad, but we'll get to the particulars. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast, of course, so wherever you get your podcast, especially Podbean, which we love. Because that's where you can go back and get to all the podcasts we've ever done. And we'll get to some more stuff in a minute. So, all right. So I just want to kind of scatter shoot here. And these are the thoughts I have when I'm lying in bed at night. It's, again, kind of sad, And we all know that. But it's where I am in my life. So I was thinking about this because I saw a lot of pictures. I feel like, which one of you three would have the best lead off on this? I feel like maybe Dean might have it on this, but we all have our opinions. So I was thinking about spring break, and it's wrapping up now, you know, if it's not already wrapped up for most school districts. And I was thinking about, I think a lot of people, the quote regulars and the locals, I think they have the wrong attitude about spring break crowds. Remember we were talking about this, and I said, you know, if you just embraced them while they were here and did more for them while they are here, your city would thrive even more. And I was talking about Aransas Pass because they all go to Port Aransas.
Well,
they all go to Rockport.
If you own a restaurant, or if you own a hotel, or if you sell T-shirts and souvenirs, you love them.
Yeah, but the locals hate them, and the regulars like us, like me.
They crowd up the streets, and they congest the waterways, and just, well, ask the people in Corpus Christi how they feel about it. There were 5 people got shot.
Well, there's always a downside.
That's rookie numbers for us up here, dog.
Oh, that's on any average Tuesday in Houston, Texas. But it has its pros and cons.
I just feel like we focus on Caleb. You look like you're ready here, but like the spring breakers kind of help build the entire rest of the spring breakers and Memorial Day and 4th of July weekenders and all that. It's like everybody resents them for some reason, but they're good for building a lot of infrastructure, a lot of things we like to do.
Oh, they're great for business. They're great. They're great for all that. It's it's the people that don't own any of those businesses and need to get gas. That's the problem. I personally think the college chicks that come to Matagorda and wear bikinis are great. I'm very happy they showed up.
And that's what I was fixing to say. The potato chip aisle at HEB is the happeningest place in town. You can just hang out there, go around and it happens that the wine and the beer aisle is right next to the potato chips.
It's funny because I went down to fish with Dean spring breakish last year, and I texted Dean from his HEB. I said, "Good Lord!" He goes, "You're on the potato chip aisle."
It's a thing, man. Yeah. And then you go there and you avoid all the beach traffic.
Mm-hmm. And Scott, for a fishing town like Port O'Connor, would you agree or disagree with what I'm saying? Because I know it gets crowded, but at the same time, guides, get to fish more, or it's not always the most experienced people, but you do get more. If you want it, you can get it.
I don't even go to Port O'Connor when it's
here we go.
It's just the ramps are crowded, everything's crowded up. So I don't know. It's like going out on New Year's Eve.
You did it to yourself.
It's amateur hour. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. See,
I got too many other days that I can go out there and have fun. Fewer folks around.
The
as a guide, yes, they live off of it. Port O'Connor survives off of weekends and holidays. Without that, it'd be pretty rough. But it doesn't mean I have to participate.
Yeah, I mean, as a guide, it's kind of a vacation for you too. It's a great time to not be there and go do something inland. Hey, you want to know what you want to know what my family took me to do on spring break to get away from it all? We went to the Galveston Pleasure Pier. So I got to stare at saltwater and enjoy a carnival with said spring breakers.
Well, I don't know about that one, but okay. So here's another thought that was firing off in my brain. As you guys who can be real a-holes sometimes, if we're just being honest, sending me pictures, all three of you did it today, sending me pictures of tailing redfish, kayaking, fly fishing for tailing redfish, a big old flounder that Caleb caught, and tossing a dude on his birthday into the water, by the way. That was something that I want to hear about. I finally realized why I call you a-holes during the week, because I'm a weekday challenge person. I finally figured it out.
That was a pretty good parlay right there in about 30 minutes.
I know.
We all dropped bombs on you.
I'm just going to cut John off. An a-hole is pretty much the same thing as an A-lister. He considers us to be A-listers.
I wear that badge of honor proudly.
But I figured out why it bothers me more than it should. Because back when I was at the Chronicle and I was a columnist, I covered events on the weekend. So I was out of pocket pretty much Thursday through Sunday or Monday. So I would fish like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That old saying, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved before. That's BS. That's crap. Because I did do that. I would fish Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all the time. And I was just loving life and doing what you guys were doing. And now I'm more on the weekends when I go down there. And I'm like, I think I figured it out. That why these guys enjoy putting me through the mill so much. But it was a good day. Let's get there. I just Scott.
Like knowing that you're on air from 10 to 2. So
yes, I'm working.
Even if I take pictures before 10 o'clock, I don't send them till 10.
Yeah, exactly. We make sure you're right in the middle of a thought and stop it on you.
And I'm like, dang it. Dang it. That was some gorgeous stuff, though, Dean, what you were doing today.
It was beautiful, man. And yes, today I saw the wind. I had the idea to kayak in the back of my mind for, months now. Just think about it, never do it. Think about it. I'm easily distracted. And I ran out of excuses. And today it was like riding a bicycle, man. It was amazing. The flat. And Tuesday, after spring break, ain't a soul out there today.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Just all those flats?
I ain't telling you.
You don't have to be exact. I ain't telling. You kind of know what we do here, right? You're why we're
right? Did you go right or left? Because that was his only decision of the day back in the kayak days.
Well, if you're
361, he'd say, he'd turn his right blinker on. Sometimes he'd turn left anyway.
Well, and then it depends if you're going east or west. Which side is right or left?
Well, we all know which side you're talking about.
The thing about today was in kayak bottom dragon water, 4 to 6 inches of water. There wasn't a boat going to get to where I was anyway. and it was, I didn't paddle 50 yards, maybe less than 50 yards. And I came up on my first pot of tailing reds, and it was sporadic tails until I left. And then it was kind of crazy. So I was scheduled. I went to a very interesting meeting, a luncheon today that was on the Nueces County water situation and the desal plant that we can catch up on all of that. So I was up against a deadline. I had to be there at 11 o'clock. Man, it was 10:10 when I released my last fish, and I hadn't stroked a kayak for that distance in a long time.
You're paddling your ass off coming back.
Oh man, I pushed it right to the limit. So got a pretty good core workout, good little cardio mixed in with it. But for the from daylight until 10, I mean, and I left tail, I was running over fish as I was leaving. I mean, I was just pushing them around in circles as I was leaving out of there. So but it's that time of year. I mean, those fish are going to be on, they're just in a good mood. Water temperature's good, days are getting longer. Mullet, these fish are tailing, they're eating, they're just burrowing in the grass. Little crabs, shrimp, I mean, these guys were feeding. So I mean, we're past the silly little cold fronts that, you know, it's like, is this cold front going to mess it up? What's it going to do? Even if you get a north wind now, I mean, we're past that point. I mean, we're at the season where fishing becomes pretty consistent.
And it's going to get hot. We'll talk about that later. But Caleb,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
And it's going to get hot, but it's not going to be July and August hot.
Yeah. Well, that's question. I mean, that there's no question. So, Caleb, I want you to explain the video you sent, and then I want to decide. I'm trying to decide if it was fair or foul what you did to that poor kid.
Oh, it's fair. There ain't nothing unfair about
that.
He acts like he's never met me.
Wow.
According to
he never met me or something.
I've got a retort, but go ahead and explain it first.
I mean, listen, whenever you catch a big flounder in my boat, which is worthy of celebration alone. And I will say, not only were the cows standing up, they were mooing. Because I asked Jimmy, I'm like, I wonder what it means if they're mooing too. And that means you can finally catch a flounder. So that's what it takes if anybody's wondering.
Okay.
But so, no, I've known that knucklehead for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. And he's been fishing with me down in Mansfield with Wayne and all kinds of stuff. He knows me good. And it's his birthday, and this fool lets me get him on the front of a boat with his back to the water. And not only that, but I walked past him. I was like, hey, we're gonna do a video so that your pocket looks funny. And I reached in and I pulled his wallet out. And then he was wearing one of my $high microphones. And I said, if you leave this on, it'll make an echo. We can't be standing by each other. We've been standing beside each other all morning. Good. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he gave me the microphone. And then I was like, hey, let's have Jimmy record this on your phone so you can post it on your social media. So I took his phone from him too. And then I'm like, all right, come stand right there. And here he comes. And
but what about the key fob?
Key fob, earbuds.
Let me tell you what. A, who the heck fishes with earbuds in their pocket? That's his own fault. B, I promise you, his father would happily buy a new key fob to see his kid get soaked on his birthday.
So did he test the key fob when y'all got back? Did it work?
Yeah, he did, because I have another video I haven't posted yet where I think he walked through knee-deep mud in a cotton field and then straight onto my boat, straight across the sea deck, straight down the floor. And then as I'm chewing him out, he says, I rinsed my feet off when I got in the boat. I said, you did it on the boat. And so, yeah, the key fob worked because he drove to my house and washed my boat when we got home too.
Okay, so you're starting to sway me a little bit, but Scott, back in the day, you, me, and Dean, not so much Caleb, you know, you go to a house party or somebody's house, they would throw someone in the pool and it was no big deal. But back then, we didn't have phones and we didn't have earbuds and we didn't have key fobs and all that. So that's kind of a lost, you know, art. Fair or foul on what Caleb did?
I'm thinking. First, I thought it was all foul, but then he's, you know,
that's what I'm saying. He's swaying me a little bit.
Yeah, he picks the kid up. It's foul on the kid for not realizing what the hell was fixing to happen to him.
He's asking for all my stuff.
Jesus, I mean, Hey, empty your pockets.
Okay.
And right here.
Sure.
Take that video off to record take that microphone off to record this video.
And let me hold your flounder for you for a second.
Yes.
I mean, I'm playing this.
All right. So
I'd have sent him with the flounder, but I didn't want my bogas to get wet.
I mean, even Steve knew what was fixing to happen.
Exactly.
Steve stood there watching it.
By side the boat to watch it.
He was. Again, if this were a court of law, you would have swayed me. I'm gonna, you know what? if I were a judge, like, I'm gonna have to side with the defense here, man. Because that was. But here, go ahead.
I'll tell you what though. Let me tell you what you catch on a Tuesday when there's no tournament and the cows are mooing.
Mm-hmm.
Your typical stringer for a tournament is usually 3 trout, a redfish, and a flounder, right? At an 11-pound slot red, 4.5, 5-pound flounder, and 3 2.5-pound trout.
Man,
like
that's the day.
That would have been utter devastation at the scales.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
that would have done it.
That's what you catch on Tuesdays. Saturdays that don't happen.
Yes, I remember. I remember it very fondly all those years ago. That now, someday soon, I'll be back fishing on Tuesdays, hopefully. But all right. So you had the tailing redfish. We talked about that with Dean. Scott, what about you though? What were you looking at out there?
Tailing reds. I pulled in one of my favorite little areas and didn't even really get up on the polling platform yet. Started seeing pods, and there was scattered pods all over my area there, and we just kind of went from pod to pod, and like Dean said, man, they were happy fish. I mean, they weren't spooky at all. It was dead slick calm. You can see that in the video. It wasn't a breath of wind, but those fish didn't care. Usually when it's like that, you make a little bump, you make a little noise. Customers on the boat make some noise. It'll spook them. I mean, these fish didn't spook till we were right on top of them.
It's happening.
Did see one blow up a big old mullet too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's this school of finger. Well, it wasn't a big mullet, finger mullet. 5-6 inch mullet. Little school was moving along there, and they kind of wandered past a school of tailing reds, and one of the reds just shot out of the tailing school and just busted the hell out of them. Kind of shocked me. I wasn't expecting that.
And you also sent us, or was it Dean? Sent us something about the boat trailers. Who was it? Yeah, you saw two. You saw two.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
It's the season. It is the season.
Spring breakers comes full circle.
People that have had their boats sitting for months, and they jump on the road and they head to the coast, and the axle falls off the trailer. Yes, I saw two where the axle was completely broken. And of course, normally one side breaks. They don't both break at the same time, and then it wraps around. And then it destroys the part that stays attached. Gets twisted and jumbled, and the fenders get ripped off, and it's a mess. And then the only solution for that is bring another trailer, and how do you get a boat off a broken trailer to a new trailer on the side of the road? Not easy. But just wanted to remind everybody to inspect your U-bolts, inspect your wheel bearings. Even though the axles, a lot of them are supremely galvanized and really high quality, it's only as good as what you bolted on there with.
No, that's important. Yeah.
It's only as good as the U-bolts that are holding it to the frame. And it happens every year. We see them all up and down. And one of them was in between Tivoli, out there in the middle of nowhere. And that dude, that was just a trailer sitting off on the road, man. I guess they were going for help somewhere. And then the second one was in Rockport.
So you saw two.
Oh yeah, two of them within about an hour of each other. But it's not an uncommon thing. A lot of folks drive from Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. They're pulling their boats, long road trips. And if there's a weakness underneath that trailer, man, after some time, it's going to find it. So it's under the bottom, it's down there where you can't see it. You got to lay down. You got to crawl under that thing.
Well, that's one of the key things to mention. You got
or
to.
just, and it's not an easy fix too. I mean, I've done more trailer repair than I care to remember on boat trailers and kayak trailers and such of that. The bolts usually require cutting them off with a cutoff wheel or a cutting torch. So, seek a professional if you really want it done right. Unless
Master Hitch, our boys at Master Hitch, they're fantastic. We talk about Scott all the time.
For all of the insurance that you pay for to protect your boat, new tires and U-bolts on the trailer is the least amount of money you'll ever spend, and you will be so happy that you're not worried about that thing. Man, when I'm pulling a boat down the highway like that, I mean, my eyes are in the mirror watching the trailer more than they're looking at the road in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I've been involved with those situations and I just know the potential's there. But yes, trailer tires, that's another one. When they sit for months, they get flat spotted just because they're not rotating. And then the tread rips off. And then when the tread rips off, it will also shred your fenders off of the trailer.
You're hitting all the high points here.
I mean, I've
everything that's going through my mind. I'm like, yep.
I've been involved in those things. And then, when the fender gets all mangled, to put it back in any kind of condition, even if you got a spare tire, you're just on the side of the road dealing with a mess that if you take a little precaution, you can, those things are avoidable with a little maintenance.
All right, Scott, anything to add there? The one thing I was thinking is, and I keep my trailer at the house now, and Dean moves it sometimes, I move it sometimes, and lube it up, but it's mainly my boat at the marina. But when you're trailering a lot like we used to, and I know you did, what are some things you would add there?
And I mean, I see at least one a week between Seadrift and Port O'Connor, sitting on the side of the road. It happens all the time. Checking the bearings is the number one. Now, with the newer axles, I mean, I just replaced 2 this morning for my neighbor, and the newer axles, you don't have the U-bolts and you don't have all that. It just bolts directly to the trailer frame, and much better. Better situation. You got stainless steel bolts, you got aluminum plate. Everything works out a whole lot better. You don't get near the corrosion. But on the axle themselves, those axles get hot. And I don't care how good the galvanizing is. If you heat it up, it's going to eventually rust. And, so if you keep them well greased and check that pretty regular, that's even gotten better over the years.
You used to have to pump it in there and all that.
Yeah. Now they're sealed up much better. But watch for any grease. Like, look at the inside of your wheels. It's usually the rear seal that goes out, and you'll see some grease thrown up on the inside of the wheel or up on the inside of the wheel well, and that's your first sign. And other sign is when you do pump your grease in there, if it comes out kind of milky looking, that's a big clue. There's something, the cover on your buddy bearings is cracked. That happened to me here a while back. It's always something along those lines. That and and trailer lights.
Always.
Trailer lights
almost every month.
I mean, I see dozens of trailers every day, and almost all of them have something out.
Yes.
I mean,
always. And people were saying, "Oh, the LED is better." No, I don't know about that.
And the deal is, most always it's the ground. It's the ground wire. And if you'll take that ground wire and clean it off real good and use some dielectric grease on there, it'll hold up a whole lot longer. But we're dunking them. We dunk them every day, and that grease washes off.
I tell you, what I use is Corrosion X. Corrosion X is a boat owner's best friend. I spray the hubs. I spray all the wires, like where Scott said, where the ground wire connects to the trailer. Spray that regularly. The crank where the jack is in the front, the little wheel that when it's brand new, it spins like butter. but after 1 month, that thing is solid as a rock. Man, I spray all of my cleats back around the engine, you know, the hydraulic steering, all the fittings, the bolts on the transom. I keep everything with a good layer of Corrosion X. And but especially under the trailer, like the hubs are still steel. They're carbon steel, so there's not much you can do. Those rust. Another problem that I've had is the lug nuts aren't the type of lug nut where you can see the threads on the outside. It's got like a cap on it, so there's a lot going on underneath those lug nuts that you can't see. So if you're so inclined, every once in a while, back those nuts off, hit them with some Corrosion X, and yeah, try taking those things off when they're locked up on the side of the road and the thing is buried a foot in the cow patty.
Yeah. The only other thing, and then I want to get to our texts here that are pretty funny before we move on, is when I went for about 2 or 3 years, I kept my boat outside. Now I had a complete boat cover. It covered everything on the boat, so that was good, from the motor all the way to the front. But I learned this the hard way. I ended up buying tire covers, like those trailer tire covers, because those things will rot in a heartbeat out on that. It was asphalt basically, and I had 2 of them at once go out. So if you buy those little trailer, covers, that keeps the dry rot from really getting you. But Caleb, the mixed reaction on how you treated. What was that young fella's name? Let's go ahead and embarrass him fully. Just give me his first name.
That was a hot shot Jacob Houston of Needville, Texas, senior class.
Last name too, then.
Representing America's youth.
Can we get an address?
I don't know his address, or I'd do it.
Well, send him a card.
Scott is 100% right. We're getting texts here, and you said he was a bit more nimble than he expected, and then Scott goes, "That boy came out of the water like a cat." He did, man. He hit the water and it was barely wet, and he came out right back out.
So I couldn't give him the full stiff arm because I'm experiencing quite some not good issues with my elbow, and so I threw my forearm into him, and as soon as I touched him, he gave up all hopes of staying on that boat and just jumped backwards and reached for something.
Yeah. And he popped right up. I was like, man, he was pretty nimble.
Well, he had his dad's keys and his AirPods, apparently.
Like, oh, this is going to end badly.
His dad's kind of a scary dude. I get it. I mean, I wasn't making it my problem, but I get it.
But that is the versatility of an 18-year-old. Because if I would have went down on the gunnel of that boat, I would have had 3 cracked ribs the way that boy did that.
I can have it on good authority. Dean has a birthday coming up. Dean has a birthday. We have to throw him off the boat.
I ain't even getting on a boat with you guys, even if it wasn't my birthday.
I had a dude flip out of my boat one time, leaning over the side to grab a fish. He flipped out of the boat, hit the water, and his hat never got wet. He did a complete flip.
Somersault.
His head stayed completely out of the water. He grabbed the side of the boat and flipped himself.
Dang.
Impressive.
Very impressive. All right. So, Caleb, do you know what mid-strolling is? I'm going to you first because you used to be a bass guy.
It's for when
but he used to be a bass guy.
I can use it in a sentence. I jumped out of a boat and went wading and realized I had to poop mid-stroll.
Oh, Mr. Houston was mid-strolling midair. Young Mr. Houston. So we got a text. Y'all saw it, I'm sure, on the Bite Me group page, which of course everybody can join. Just be sure to hit I agree. We've had a lot of people trying to sign up lately, but unless they sit, I agree. And it's not an us thing, it's a Facebook thing. So just do that. You can join on the Bite Me group page. But said, can y'all talk about mid-strolling? So you know what I did? I started Googling and AI. I'm like, what the hell is mid-strolling? Scott, you ever heard of mid-strolling?
No.
Dean, have you ever mid-strolled?
No.
Well, none of us have mid-strolled. Well, you know what it is? I looked it up. I even saw a couple of YouTube videos. It's working a bait. It's just basically working a bait quicker. So, because I was watching this one cat, and maybe I'm going to tick off some bass fishermen here, but let me set up the video I watched. I said, what is mid-strolling in fishing? Or however I put it. So there's this guy fishing for speckled trout. I think it was in Florida because he was in deeper water. He said it was like 8 to 10 feet or something. And on the bow of his boat, laying down, were 7 rods. and he had another rod in his hand. And I'm like, well, I think I know where this guy's coming from. And he says, let me tell you about mid-strolling. And he throws the bait out. He goes, when it's deeper water and, you want to keep it right above the bottom, but you don't want to bring it all the way to the top. You just let it sink and twitch it real fast. And I'm like, we do that.
Fishing.
That's called fishing. That's called fishing. It's like, I thought for sure at least Scott would have heard it somewhere, or Caleb, because he's a bass guy. He goes, if y'all haven't tried mid-strolling, you need to try it. And I'm like,
I mean, basically, you're just keeping the lure in the middle of the water column.
yes, that's exactly what you're doing. Yes, that's exactly what you're doing. So
on the bottom or working at top water.
But as soon as I saw 7 rods on the bow, I'm like, okay, I know what this is. All due respect to our bass fishermen out there, but yeah, I was laughing about that.
Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. It did get me thinking about a couple of things. Like I said, my brain starts to fire and all these things. Number one is the bass world and the saltwater world obviously converging. But the other thing that was interesting to me is he had front scan, he had side scan, he had his GPS, and he was working this bait real quick. It just got me thinking, like, all right, so I don't know how often we've done this when you are in that situation. Caleb, 8 to 10 feet of water, let's say, big, deeper bay, Galveston or something like that. And, to keep just for our listeners' sake, how do you do that when you're trying to work up and down the water column and you find that sweet spot, let's say 4 feet off the bottom? It's just, how do you keep it there mid-strolling, so to speak?
Yeah, you mid-stroll. What the hell is the question? Who made you the host of this?
Dummy.
Man, I did. I mean, it's a really big rod tip movement or a really little one, just depending on if I'm wanting to stay.
He was just going like.
And you know why he was doing that? Because he was fishing for a bed and bass. How many fish did he catch while he was mid-strolling?
I saw two 17-inch trout. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would almost think that is just a content creator that's running out of things to say.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, the closest thing I fished to deep water is maybe 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And closer to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Closer to 4, probably. But, I mean, you're either going to be tippy-tapping that thing on the bottom or hitting the edge. There's never a point where I can think of where I'm mid-strolling for anything out there. I mean, I don't know, maybe some specific habitat. The only place that I would even thinking whenever you were asking Caleb about that would be in the river, because there is deeper river. I mean, deeper or sharper drop off, it goes straight to 8 or 10 feet in a lot of places. But I mean, if your lure gets away from that edge, I usually give up on it pretty quick, and then it's like right back up on the edge.
The other thing is I started thinking, go ahead, Scott. I know you got something.
I just don't, I mean,
they're thinking too much.
I don't see myself in that situation much. I mean, most of the time, it's either top waters or we're bumping bottom a little more, or we're in water where it's 2 to 3 feet deep. So you're covering the whole water column just by retrieving anyway.
Yeah. At some point, you're going to be in at every depth. The other things, Caleb, you gotta watch who you're following when it comes to social media content. And I don't want to mention this guy's name because he was doing a good video and all that, but I was just like, this is too much. Sometimes people overthink the the social media aspect of it when it's really not that complicated. You got to watch who you're following here,
Well, I mean, different strokes for different folks. I'm not gonna take any shots at anyone. I mean,
right.
A lot of people say you should watch who you're following, and they're talking about me and Scott.
Yes, you and Scott.
I do. I feel
totally
like
agree.
Yes, you and Scott.
The whole mid-strolling thing could go multiple ways here. It could be somebody that's just how their mind works and how they talk. It could be somebody that I've seen some stuff, and I swear they had to have looked it up on AI and then copied and pasted it into the comments. But then there's other folks like Bush that likes to get all scientific, and James Sanchez, those guys that actually are like out wired. I don't know why they're wired like they are, but they are, and they just get into that stuff. Me personally, I'm a talk about twitching the bait kind of guy.
That's
mid-strolling.
I mean, if I'm mid-strolling in 3 feet, I got to keep it at 18 inches, man.
Hey, that's science. That's where that comes into play.
I do my best not to be hung up.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about, obviously what you guys did this week. The tides are going to be, I call them lazy tides. They're going to be a little slow and hardly moving. We talked about the winds that we had, and I started immediately thinking streaks. Is this streak season, Caleb? Because it seems like this is a good time to talk about that, because a lot of people say fish streaks. Okay, there's 75 of them in front of me. What are you thinking when you're looking at these streaks? Because this is the time for me that I would normally out there, and you guys know this. I love fishing those streaks.
Time to go streaking, John. It's simple.
It is time to go streaking. Mid-strolling and streaking.
Yeah. No, I mean, me personally, I like natural occurring streaks, something that's from, recent big wind events, or, something to move water, but it's not because there's a current ripping and it's tearing up, the bottom. That's me. Maybe those streaks over around Galveston coming out of the jetties are great, but just not what I do. But when we say it's the time to do it, it's because we have all these windy days that's followed by some calm days. And sometime in those calm days, depending on how cold the water is, it's going to be in the 70s now, most likely. I think it was 72 this morning. It's going to take a while to clean up, 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever. But as it starts to clean up, that's whenever it starts streaking. And that's that. I'm not going to say there's a right one or a wrong one. You're almost always going to find them drifting kind of mid-bay or off of a shoreline or something. You're not going to be cruising a very edge and really get into them too often.
Yeah.
But if I'm out, say I'm out in East Matagorda Bay, and the whole dang thing streaked up. It's not like I'm just going to stop right here because there's streaks and start fishing it. I'm going to, maybe there's some birds doing something. Maybe there's some bait doing something. But even more so, what I want to do is, we say it all the time, I want to hedge my bets on what's going on. And so that's when I'll try to find a streaky area that's over like a good reef that holds fish, or something that typically holds fish anyway. If I can find streaks on top of that, then that's when I'm really going to start keying in on, which ones have little pieces of bait squirting around on them and start drifting across them. So I want to double it up where I can. I'm just not going to stop out in the middle of a desert just because there's streaks there.
How do you do it, Scott? Because one thing that I've always done is I look at the streaks, obviously, and maybe what Caleb said as well, if I like the area, but also the color of the water, on one end of the streak versus the other tends to influence where I'm going to stop. How do you do it?
Well, a lot of times for me, the streaks are mud streaks from feeding fish. That's a whole lot of what I'm looking for on mud streaks. I know that's something different from what y'all are talking about fishing, but I don't typically get a whole lot of water change streaks around here. We see more of the wind streaks, the wind slicks, and those wind slicks will point out fish to you, because those are currents that are moving in opposite directions. I forgot. I can't think of the name of it right now. Dean knows what it is. It was a Bill Harvey thing where the wind streaks have a name to it, and I can't remember what the hell it is. But anyway, those basically, when a wind streak happens, the wind's blowing hard, and it makes a double-barreled swirl going length of the wind, and it's pulling the bottom stuff up and setting it on top, and that's what makes it slick. And bait fish and stuff will get into those, and the bait fish are feeding on what's being stirred up, and then of course the redfish and everything follows. But as far as like color streaks, I just don't see a whole lot of it.
Yeah, we don't down south as much either, Dean, but I know you've done that. What we do get though is the classic wind streaks. Does that even do anything for you down there south?
For sure.
It does.
And I forget the scientific term for the circulation that takes place.
That's
it's like if you it's like tornadoes under the water. So it's opposing currents that they pick up. What creates a wind slick on the water is the circulation under the water. So these counter rotating like coils of current under the water pick up sediment and stuff from the bottom and brings it up to the top. So that water is heavier than the water next to it, and it doesn't allow the wind to get friction on it. That's why it looks slick and the water next to it is rippled. Is what makes a wind slick. So yes, it is current underwater that is not associated with the tide, it's associated with the wind. So it is the wind creating an underwater current that is stirring up the bottom.
And you would target that. You would target that. And then Scott.
We find tailing fish in them all the time.
Yeah, Scott? It's a regular thing. I mean, if you're out drifting the flats, and what is it? It's like there's a certain amount of, it depends on the depth of the water, of course, too. But on the shallow flats, it's generally between 15 and 20 miles an hour of wind is when you start seeing it. So this is the prime season for it right now.
Right.
You're going to see a lot of wind slicks, and people get them confused and think that they're fish slicks, but they're really not. It's just the way the current's moving because of the wind. Dean was kind of struggling there with tornadoes or whatever. I always just think of it as twin turbines.
Turbines. Yeah.
They're spinning in opposite directions, and it just pulls it. It makes those lines. And the biggest problem with them is it also pulls all the grass up, all the floating grass, and it's hard to work in top water down those things. So if you're working top water, stay off the side of it a little bit. The fish are they're around it because there is some current, and
there's stuff turning up.
Yeah, there's things happening there, and just stay out of the actual slick line because that's where all the trash is too.
Yeah. Have you seen slicks anyway lately, Caleb?
No,
actually classic slicks.
Yeah, no, me and Tommy Alexander had a long talk about that the other day. By long, it was like probably 3 minutes, but it was longer than we talk about most other things. And we were talking about how that was just not really something that you see anymore around Matagorda.
How come?
I don't know.
Fish are still eating. They're still doing the same thing.
Maybe John Kennedy got a hold of them mullets, and there's less saturated fats in them, so it don't make a slick no more.
They're a healthy mullet.
I don't know. When we see slicks, it's typically gaff top these days. It's been a while. Me and Charlie P were driving around last fall, and we smelled some, and we stopped and caught the heck out of 5-pound trout. But we didn't even see them then either. We just drove through a smelly spot, and it was kind of fun because we drove through it, and we drove through it some more, and we kept driving. And finally, when you're Captain Caleb, you don't offer suggestions to Charlie P. You shut up and be happy you're on his boat. But also, when you're Captain Caleb, you don't keep your mouth shut well either. And so finally, I looked at him. I said, "Are we not going to stop on that?" And he goes, "You smell something?" I said, "Yes, sir. We just drove through a bunch of slicks." He goes, "I ain't been able to smell a thing since I got sick. Where's they at?" I was like, "Well, now I'm glad I talked to him." And we made a circle and caught the heck out of them. But
why do you think that we haven't seen as many down where we are now? The slicks are gaff top, Scott. But I mean, fish, trout, like you always say, fish got to eat. They're still eating.
I don't think we have as big of schools as we used to. Just the size of the schools we used to get, they'd slick up a whole lot better, I think. Like what Caleb's talking about, catching those 5-pound fish, those are going to be more scattered fish. They're not as tightly bunched as the small ones. And maybe they were slicking because you could smell it, but they were single slicking. So you're going to have these little bitty small slicks that you don't even notice.
You just smell them. Yeah. So Dean, I don't know if I think you got this picture from Scott. I don't even know if this is real, if it was AI generated or what. Uh, I'm leaning AI generated, looking at Scott's face.
It's 100% AI. I just knew I could
Yeah.
get you with it.
No, I thought immediately that, but I was like, it's a reel with a GPS, a sonar on it, and I'm like, that sure does look like AI, but I'm like, we're probably not too far from that. We're probably not too far from that.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like,
yeah,
probably. I mean,
somebody's working on it.
That's what I'm saying. Like
yes.
I saw it and I'm like, okay, but we might.
I mean, look at what you can do with an iWatch.
Yeah.
You know, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
It is probably in a prototype already somewhere out there.
Somebody saw that AI and went, "Hey,
now, I can do that.
maybe
I
we
can do that." Yeah. So the question becomes, would you use it?
No.
No way. No way.
Couldn't afford it in the first place.
Well, that's true.
I mean, you seen the price of them live scopes, man?
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what point do you rely on yourself more than the TV screen? But also three of us are in an age group where we remember not even having cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
The next generation coming up probably sees that and goes,
he's showing it right now.
Yeah, the next generation probably looks at that and goes, God, I can't wait till I get that.
I kind of thought it was real personally. I was like,
and you would use it too.
Oh, dude,
tournament fisherman.
Yesterday, I did like 3 or 4 Angler U videos, but it was just like sitting on my boat talking about different things for the spring. And Jimmy and I spent the entire rest of the day putting up the river and just not necessarily live scoping, but side scanning and marking all kinds of stuff that I'll come back to later and throw crankbaits on. Yeah, no, I'm about it. I don't know why everybody's mad at that kid. You know, here's where it's at. Here's my here's Caleb's take on the situation, because I find myself in this situation. We go to redfish tournaments and we win them. Then everybody jumps up and down and complains about, well, of course you did. You have a tower boat. Well, you know, we just beat you with a tower boat. And by we, it's several people. It's not just me. We just beat you with a tower boat. And you certainly have nothing that says you can't go get one of your own. So I'm sorry. If it's especially, I mean, even the big redfish tournaments, trout tournaments, they pay nothing compared to this bass stuff. If there's a tool out there that'll allow me to win $1 million or whatever that kid won, and the other guy didn't go get it, you're just stupid. You're not being a purist. You're being a dummy.
I don't know about that, Scott. That and Dean alluded to it. You know, ultimately, whether you fell for it or not, how much fishing technology is too much? I think that's. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen tomorrow, but there is technology that's too much.
Yeah. I mean, I use the side scan on the beachfront. I've been on a couple of boats that had the live scan stuff, and it's pretty interesting. I think it would help me with tarpon. There's no doubt about that, because the tarpon, they come up to the top, they roll for a second, and then they're gone. And you don't know where they are. You don't know which way they went or how deep they went. It'd be interesting to use it on that. But the weirdest part on using them is you can watch it. They're so sophisticated and so sensitive now. I was watching the guy's jigs. Collins Illick had it on his boat. He striper fishes. He brought it down here, and I was running the boat for him while he had his buddies down. And I was sitting on the jetties with them, and they're casting to the rocks, and I'm watching their lures.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, hey, you can buy a bunch of technology for $1 million. Arguably too much technology, but it's kind of like the whole croaker thing. I'm not particularly for it, but I'm not like gonna jump up and down and hate on it, because I mean, I'll keep using the kids. That's the hottest topic lately. He still had to go find fish, and he still had to put in the time to learn how to read the thing, because you don't just look at it and something out of there says cast here.
Mhm.
I've used live scan before. It's not super easy to use. And if you gave me live scan and said go out on that lake and compete against these 3 guys that have the most basic Garmin ever, I'm not going to beat them, because
Right.
the kids still put in the work and learn how to do all of that stuff.
Well, Dean, I'm not a guide. I don't have to put people on fish. I like to put people on fish. But to me, ultimately, it comes down to the fun and the mystery of it all. There's something to that for me. You were on a kayak today with nothing. On my boat, I'll use depth, but I don't look for bait balls or anything like that unless I'm running the beachfront. But what about that argument, like keeping it pure, so to speak?
That is my philosophy. It works for me. Whether that's for everybody or not, but I do. And so Scott, whenever you guys were throwing at the rocks with the side scan, would you have thrown at the rocks anyway?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they were fishing, throwing at the rocks. And I mean, we weren't using the side scan for locating fish or anything at the time. We weren't using it.
Right.
I mean, it was just I was just sitting at the. What happened?
You were entertaining yourself.
Collins comes down, he brings his buddies, and he wants me to run his boat for him while he's here because he wants to drink beer with his buddies. And he doesn't want to run his boat while he's drinking beer. Yeah. So I handle the boat, and so they're all fishing, having a good time, and I was sitting at the console, the trolling motor, and the screen's in front of me. I was going to look at it. So, it was just interesting to see how it was.
But even though that
you could see it,
but what I'm saying is, it wasn't like you wouldn't have caught those fish without it.
No,
so it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't make any difference to what we were doing, but I could see some applications for it. Guys who fish like open water, Galveston, Sabine, places like that where you're fishing a reef. Being able to ease up on that reef and see, are there any fish there? It would be a time saver. You're not wasting time on a dead reef. But like I said, I would like to see it used in tarpon on the beachfront. I'm running in 10, 15, 20 feet of water, and a school pops up off to my right as I'm cruising along. Where'd they go? Where do we cast from there? Because they're moving. They're not slow. And it would be kind of interesting, not even so much to be able to cast in front of them, but just to learn what they're doing, how they're reacting to the boat being there, or are they staying up towards the top, or are they going down to the bottom? Or are they mid-strolling?
Scott's gonna have that live scope screwed on before June.
I would love to have it. I would love it.
You're talking about the side scan?
No, I have live scope, but if I did live scope, it'd have to be like the Humminbird or the Garmin one, where you can actually like see them swim like their outlines. Because the one I looked at looked like I was looking at a hurricane approaching on the screen, and there's a lot of work to figure it out.
My buddy Kevin Cook, the Bassmaster extraordinaire with the Skeeter boat, he's got side scan, down scan, live scope, front scope. He's probably got a periscope on that thing.
it's pretty funny.
He's got the one where, I mean, you can see the little fishy swimming.
That's what Caleb's talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know which one of the bass things it is FLW or the BASS, or I can't keep up with all of them now. But there's one of them that they put a limit on the screen.
Yes.
The size of the screen is like 52 inches of screen.
52 inches.
That's how much, because they've got like
total. They've
got like, these guys will have 4, 5, 6 different screens.
Well, some of them, some of the tournament series have actually eliminated the live scope.
Yeah.
There's some where you can only use live scope for one session, and I don't know if you get to choose which session.
Yes.
You can use it for one, and you can't use it for the other, or something. Yeah.
But you're in, Caleb.
Oh hell yeah, that'd be. I mean, ever since it came out, because my thing is I like cruising rivers and intercoastals and stuff, and if I could look at a group of fish and know whether they're way overs or if they might be slots, I mean that'd be a game changer for
if
what I
y'all
do.
could see Caleb's podcast media room, his boat would look like that if it could be that way.
I did what you call it Elon, a Starlink. I got the Starlink set up for my boat came in.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you're done. That thing is badass. Yeah,
I'm ready.
It really is. What's the subscription on that? Pretty expensive, isn't it?
So I have the travel one. It's $165 a month, but I could turn it on this month and then turn it off next month. So like if I'm spending a week or two down in Baffin, that's pretty much what I got it for. Baffin and my house in Matagorda, those two places don't have internet. I could activate it for the month, but then next month I could deactivate it, and I think it's like a $5 holding fee. But even on the $5 fee, like if I took it to Baffin or something, and it would still give me like the ability to text and things like that. I just couldn't, watch YouTube or something, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie, that intrigues the heck out of me, but I can't justify it. Like Scott could maybe justify it. He's running offshore a lot, especially now in the bigger boat. But I can't justify Starlink. I got my own little hotspot down in Rand's Pass where we get our internet. But so just put a bow on this, and then we'll get to what would Scott do, and Dean and Caleb. Scott, the question that I asked, Dean, the fun and the mystery of it. I'm not a guide, like I said. But and I know it comes in handy for you, but isn't that? Let me ask it: is that more of a? Would you still be doing that if you were just fun fishing?
No.
Right. And so I want to translate it to our listeners who are mostly fun fishing. I think it's more. Yeah, I think it's better without it.
I purposely go out there and handicap myself by fishing with a fly rod.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. You can see all the fish in the world. Try to put a fly over there.
I mean, I'm live scanning all the time from my polling platform. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, you're the live scan. You're the live scan.
So you're so old.
We're not going to mention any names, but you've had a little bit of a run here with some fly fishermen that couldn't quite put the fly where it belongs. You're basically fishing with Caleb and me. That's got to be the most frustrating thing.
I've had quite a few lately.
So you see the fish. They see the fish.
Oh yeah.
And just for the life of them, can't get it on them.
Well, I mean, fly fishing's hard. Till you get it figured out. And even when you get it figured out, it's still not easy.
Yeah. So the video that I edited today that I posted, I narrowed it down to about a 6-minute video. I eliminated probably 76 minutes of casting where I lined fish, hit them on the head with the fly, totally blew the cast. But you don't see that part in my Actually, I should put a blooper reel together to show, because I messed up way more than I caught.
I'll tell you what, it was impressive. The one you put together, I watched it. I mean, you're just sitting there right next to the water and you were really flicking that thing right on them.
That's the beauty of the kayak, man. It's silent, stealth. Even so, at that one little clip at the end is one where I was paddling in where that fish was tailing, and I just cruised right past it. I actually picked up my phone, shot that video with the phone, where it's just getting it, and it didn't spook until the boat got like 4 feet from the fish. But yes, that is the beauty of the silent, stealthy kayak, and you don't have to be a magnificent caster when you can but there's a patient game, and some of you that know me know that patience is not one of my finer virtues. And when it comes to watching those fish tailing, maneuvering and getting into position, and then it's just one simple little easy cast.
What are you laughing about, Caleb?
I just how much I enjoy listening to the show and how much I can relate with what you're talking about.
And before we wrap this up, I want to go back to John said we're coming up on a flatliner on the tide.
Oh, yeah, I call it lazy tides.
Well, I don't know where you got that information.
Yeah, I don't know where you're.
Really? I'm looking at Friday right now. I got my phone up right here.
We're coming up on the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
So here's okay, let's just jump right into where we're going this week. Because the tide today it started before the sun came up, little bit in the negative, -2 overnight. It was very low. Right now it's at 1.3. So that is an incoming tide of 14 inches in a very short time today. We're just past third quarter, coming up on the full moon. Barometer is low, which also it helps the tide move.
Yeah, I'm looking at all that right now.
The incoming tide. So for this week, and then we got 9 to 10 mile an hour wind, which is just completely doable, perfect. Big tides coming up on the full moon, low barometer. It's all good on paper.
To be fair, Scott? John, we have crap tides right now. You missed it by like 72 hours, so I got your back on that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
The tides right now suck, but by the time you get into the weekend, you're coming into the full moon. But this week they do.
Wait a minute. Look.
I mean, my high is at 1, and my low is at a negative 2.5 or 0.25. So, I mean, I'm getting a foot and a half of tide.
Yeah, we're getting over a foot here.
8 to 10 hours.
All right.
Mine sucked, John. I was also 30 miles up a river, but it sucked.
So with that, then, what are you looking at, Scott? Let's help get some fish this weekend.
Low tides at daylight. They'll be up with their backs out, doing their thing, tailing up real shallow. And as the tide comes up, they're going to probably push back into the trees and get up into the small lakes, small backwaters. That's what I saw, this week. Was the low tide right at daylight. Fish were visible. They were all over. We were live scanning the hell out of them.
Caleb, what's going on?
He was live scanning and mid-strolling.
And mid-strolling.
That was mid-stroll. You caught me mid-stroll, man. Dang.
My mid-stroll was about, I don't know, 3 to 4 inches.
Yes.
was mid-strolling for me.
Yeah.
Man, the little bait is here like crazy, like just clouds and clouds and clouds of them. It made my side scan look like it had water spots on it, all up. So yeah, you're getting in the time. If you want to go wading, get off in front of some guts and some drains, or over some grass that's holding those little guys. Throw little shiny things and just grin real big and hold on. If you're out drifting, kind of the same idea. Find some bait, throw small things, shiny if you have them. And we the last 2 days of fishing, it wasn't gangbusters, but it wasn't hard either. We caught enough to have a good time. It wasn't every cast, but it kept us busy. So like Dean said, the first of the show, I think the fun times are starting to show up a little bit.
That's what I like to hear. Fun times starting to show up.
If I was middle to upper coast, from Matagorda on up, that little bit of more off color water than what we have here, this is the time for spinner baits, man.
Oh yeah.
It is spinnerbait season.
All right, good stuff. Anything from you guys before we get out of here? And of course, I want to encourage everybody to get on the Facebook group page and book you guys, because you just heard them. It's time. It's starting. Anything from you guys? We got the shootout.
Shootouts available at Anglers Anonymous.
Yeah,
Waterloo Outfitters
and Waterloo Outfitters. Scott, Caleb, you guys good?
Bring your own rope.
Bring your own rope. All right. Good stuff from you guys as always. I know everybody's going to appreciate that. Really appreciate everybody joining us here. You guys have a great week, great weekend. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time.